pretty simple cut and dry procedure here. What I'll be doing is a 3-part drain assembly, and this is what you need when you're using a rubber pan. Okay, what you do is just loosen these bolts up here. Pretty cut and dry. 7/16. Just take it off, and then what happens is the shower pan liner goes in between this and this, and then this screws on here. Well, it'll be a different drain. We're using a very custom drain for this. It's very nice. And there you have it. I'll vacuum this up, get a little bit of dust out from there, and then we'll be putting the rubber pan in. Now for the very tricky part, you have to be very, very careful when doing this procedure here. Now we'll be cutting out around the bolts and then putting a X in the actual drain part. And what I've done here, I've centered the mat. I got it up on the walls, minimum 10 inches all the way around. I'll show you that here in a bit. One of the really important things, see my socks? You can feel, you know exactly what's going on. You're not tracking anything on the pan. And if you just so happen to have missed something, you can feel it a lot better. So I'm gonna get at doing the drain here. Very, very careful, knowing exactly where your knife is at all times. Having a new blade, which is very important. I'm just switching out the blade right now on the outside of the shower. Okay. Now, what we'll do, you'll feel the nut that I loosened. You just want to put a very, very small mark. And using your finger on the floor, making sure that you don't overshoot it. You do that, then your drain is ruined. Very, very small X, very carefully. Put the blade back in. And you'll just squeeze it down over the top of that nut. And if you see nothing that's tight against that nut there. So I'll go ahead and do that all the way around here. Same procedure. And then I'll show you the little X that you want to put in the drain. Now we have the bolts through the liner. Very nice and snug. The rubber's right up against it. It will end up acting as a washer. Okay, this is another have to be very careful doing this. I don't like to go all the way to the edge. I would right before the edge, and I get it as close as I can to where I think I can still get the drain down. We're putting this X here, so this part, the very smooth part, slides down in it. We'll put this in, spin it, and then we'll tighten her down. Sometimes I gotta go back and redo mine because I leave as much of the rubber pan down in there as possible. So there you have it. It's all the way down. Just tighten these up. To do it like I'm tightening the head on the drum. Just go around. Don't tighten them all down at one time. Just take your time. See, you want them fairly snug, not to where it cuts through the rubber pan. It's very important. This has nice contact with the bottom part of the flange, the assembly. Now, the drain goes on as such. I like to put that on so we don't drop anything down it. Like I said, I'm replacing this one, putting a nice one on. And that's how you do the shower pan drain assembly. So I'm getting the liner in. I got my folds in the corner. What I do is I will go and keep that fold on that stud there. I know my mud's coming up just about to that black line there. Keep that fold down in there. Have anything, if any water was to get down in there, which it shouldn't. If you got water going in there, you did something wrong in the first place. But anyways, I keep the mud right about that black line right there, and then that fold doesn't push out the Durarock. You'll see I have it over here exact same way. Any water comes in, which if it does, you did something wrong to begin with. So there's the folds. And then I want to show you something about being very cautious. See right here? There's a nailer plate there. And I had addressed it earlier, and then I ground it down before the shower pan come in. And then now I took some corrugated tile tape just for extra precaution. I got about 3 or 4 layers across that because it is metal. So now the rubber pan is not touching any metal, just overkill. But this is what I used. You can use this for a bunch of different applications. I don't ever tile directly over it, but it's really nice tape to have. A little handy. And then it'll come around the curve here. My pan will fold up, come up inside here. You gotta be really cautious with the curbs. No nails and whatnot. So you'll see that process after I'm done. I doubt I will video while I'm doing it. We'll see. Have the liner in, covered. I'm getting ready to put the Durarock up. If you notice these curbs, extra, don't be slicing and dicing until you can get it as far out as you can. Once you get out to this part right here, that's on the outside of the shower curb, the shower door. You have to slice it at some point, and that's as far out as you can go and still come around the bend. So now we just put the Durarock up. I've made marks on the pan, so I know exactly where the studs are, so we're not hitting any of the plumbing. And it's time to get this Durarock up. Oh, I'll put that waterproofing up. I think I mentioned it. Just the first coat, just to add a little something there. I'll finish it up when I get it all done.